Hello, everyone. My name is Karen Quinn, and I am the Testing Mom. And today I'm going to take you through everything you need to know about the NWEA MAP test. So let's get started. Share my screen. Here we go. So what is the MAP test? And MAP, by the way, stands for Measures of Academic Progress. And that's exactly what it is. It's an online achievement test that measures the academic progress students have made. So it's going to score your child on what they've learned, what they're ready to learn next, and also they'll look at how the child has improved since the last time they took the test. Now, sometimes this particular test is used to qualify students for gifted programs or honors programs in some school districts. The questions are multiple choice, fill in the blank, drag and drop, or there may even be some writing questions in the language usage section. And since this test is done on a computer, if your child is going to have to do writing on the computer, one thing you want to do is make sure your child knows how to type, because they're going to have to type out a paragraph or something like that to answer questions when they take the test. They test 4 different areas for the most part. There's going to be math, language usage, reading, and science. Now, science is not always given. It depends on the version of the test that your school district decides to use, and also the grade level your child is in. But each one of the subjects has a lot of sort of sub-subjects within them. So for example, math is going to have algebra, geometry, computation, statistics, and probability, measurement and data, again, depending on the grade level. Language usage is going to have writing, grammar, and mechanics of writing. Reading will have vocabulary, literature, and children will be asked to read passages and identify the main idea, maybe story details. There could be questions about the structure of the passage, that sort of thing. And then with science, there's going to be life sciences, physical sciences, earth and space science. Now, each one of these tests, when they're given, so that, let's say your child is taking the math MAP test, it lasts 30 minutes to an hour. It's actually an untimed test. So the child can take as long as they need, and the results are then given immediately because it is an online test. So you can just score it automatically once the test is complete. One thing you want to tell your child when they take this test is before they choose their final answer, they want to be sure, because there's no back button. So if they choose an answer and then hit next and go on to the next question, they will not be able to go back and change an answer or rethink, what they chose for an earlier question. Now, within this test, there's 3 versions. There's the K to 2nd grade version, the 3rd to 5th grade version, and then the 6th to 12th grade version. And this test is an adaptive test. And I'm going to really try to explain what that means. Just as an explanation in words, and then I'll show you. If a student answers a question on the test correctly, then the test is going to serve up the next question, and it'll be a harder question. If the child answers a question incorrectly, then the next question they're going to get is going to be an easier question. And as a result of this, every student that takes this test gets a different version of the test, because they all make mistakes at different points and end up going, higher or lower than the students in the class, their peers. So it becomes a unique test for every single student. So let's look at what we mean by the test serving up easier or harder questions, okay? All right, so this is an easy one. This is just a kindergarten level question, but it shows you how this works. So a kindergartner might get a question like this, let's try some spelling words. Click on the letters that spell the word cat, and they need to click C-A-T. Now, if they get it right, they get yay, super. So they get positive feedback. If they get it wrong, then they'll hear, oh, not quite, try again. And then the test will bring up a new question, and it's going to be an easier version of the same question. So in this case, only one of these is the correct spelling of the word cat. Click on the correct spelling. Well, this is a little easier than the other question. So if you click here and you get it right, then they'll get positive feedback. Yay, fabulous, you got it right. So that's an example at the kindergarten level. Now let's look at an example at the second or third grade level. So with this question, it would be, look at the fractions and compare them, and click on the symbol that will make the number sentence true. And if you're not sure, they suggest drawing a picture and comparing the fractions. So if, let's say they miss this one, they say they're equal. So, oh, you missed it. So now what they're going to do is serve up an easier version of the same question. And here with this one, there's actually already a picture next to the question. So you can actually see what half looks like versus a quarter. So now the question is half more than, less than, or equal to 1/4? Well, it's clearly, when you look at the picture, more than. So if the child gets it right, then the next question they get is going to be a harder question. Now what I want to do is kind of show you how this test is scored, because it's a little different from, let's say, a state test where, or a lot of standardized tests where the score indicates the grade level. Are you at grade level? Are you above grade level or below grade level? The way it works with the MAP test is they give what's called a RIT score, and that stands for Roush unit score. And Roush, I guess, is the person who invented this scoring system. So he got it named after him. And what the RIT value is it indicates the level of difficulty within a particular band of questions. So let's look at geometry, for example. These are for younger kids, K to 2nd grade. But geometry, the easiest questions, the low level questions, are going to be super easy, like below 131. Here's the question, look at the shapes. Which shape has only 3 sides? So it's here, very, very easy. But if you go all the way to a RIT level of above 191, or in fact, let me go to this one. This is actually a band. So this is almost the last band. But here, the question kind of compares to this one, which is, look at these objects, choose all the objects that have 6 faces. So instead of 3 sides, now they're asking about 6 faces. So it's a much harder question. And then if it's above 191, this is, choose all the shapes that show 1/3 shaded. So again, harder question. And so the RIT level, which is this number or this band, is just an indication of how difficult the questions are within that band. And each of the questions within the band, they can be all kinds of different questions, but they will all be at the same level of difficulty. And it's the same with measurement and data and numbers and operations. And the lower level questions are going to be answered correctly much more frequently. The questions that have the higher RIT score are going to be answered correctly less frequently. And in fact, let's say if you have a child whose ultimate score in math is, let's say in measurement is 151, so they fall right here, they're going to have to do some learning to be able to handle questions in these higher RIT bands over here. So that's what the RIT bands are, okay? Now we'll talk a little bit more about them. So remember, the RIT values the level of difficulty, and ultimately the child earns a score a RIT score. And what that means is that they're capable of answering a question at this level of difficulty correctly 50% of the time. Okay, so we'll look at this example of how a child might take a test. So they're going to start with the very first question, and it will be, and it looks like this is at about a 218 level. I'm looking at this RIT level. It looks like the first question was at the 218 level, which happens to be at the grade 6 level, which I know. So that was the first question, and the child got it right. So their next question is going to be a harder question. And the child got this one right. Now their next question is an even harder question. And this is quite a lot harder. It's probably 7th or 8th grade. I don't know. But it's much harder, but oh, the child missed it. So now they're going to give them an easier question. And here's the easier question, but they missed this one. So now they get another one, but they missed it. So now they get another easier question. Aha, they finally get it right. So this one they got right. So their next question is going to be harder. Oh, they missed it. And then they missed the next one. Then they got the next one. They got that correct. So the next one's going to be harder. So we're going up. So this kind of shows you how the test kind of goes up and down until it sort of figures out the level at which the child is performing. And you can see the child got a lot of them correctly at around this level, between like 210 and looks like maybe between 218, something like that. So that's kind of how the test goes, just kind of up and down until they figure out just where is this child, what is their current achievement level, and that's how the test works. You're going to be given a math score and then subtest score, that makes up the math score for your student. But there are charts that convert the RIT scores that you see to what grade level are they currently achieving at. So your school can give you these conversion charts, or you can look them up online, but you can see that, for example, we were just looking at 218 where we started that last test, and that's where the child started, and it was at the 6th grade level. And I would say, let's see, let's go back. If I don't know how this will all average out, but it'll be somewhere probably a little bit lower, somewhere between, I don't know, it might be lower than 218. It might be closer to, 214 as an average, something like that. So this student is somewhere between 5th and 6th grade. So the other thing that's important to understand about RIT scores is that the grade level does not even matter for a RIT score. You can have a 4th grader who is scoring 218, and you can have an 8th grader who is scoring 218. The 4th grader is performing above his grade level. The 8th grader is performing below their grade level. But what we know is that both of these children, even though they're in different grades, they can't, when they are doing questions at this level of difficulty, they'll get them right about 50% of the time. And over time, they track a child's RIT score. So, for example, here, remember I'm not sure if I told you this, but they give this test actually about 3 times a year. They tend to give it in the fall, in the winter, and in the spring, because they want to see how the child is progressing. So here we've got a winter, spring, and a fall score. And this was over summer. So look, it went down. Maybe the child wasn't doing work over the course of the summer, so their score went down. But then by winter, they got it back up again. And the thing that happens with the RIT score is it stays consistent all across the grade levels. So you can watch your child's, math RIT score over time. And hopefully what you're seeing is you're going to see it growing and going up over time because your child is learning more and able to handle more difficult questions. But what kind of interesting what you see here, which is fairly common, is between spring and fall. If the child does not do work over the summer, the scores do tend to sometimes drop. So that's a pretty common kind of thing. So let's look at the cycle, kind of the MAP test cycle. As I said, students will take it 3 to 4 times a year. So after the child takes the test, the family will get the report and the teacher gets the report. And when you get your report, it's important to reach out to the teacher and try to sit down with them and go over it with the teacher, because you want to find out how the child is doing and where they need additional instruction. And so, talking to the teacher, you will find out, well, your child is doing great in these areas, but gosh, they could use a little help over here. Maybe you could work with them at home, do some additional, schoolwork in the areas where they're below where they should be. But wow, they're doing great in these other areas. Now, the teacher will use the information in this report to adjust their entire teaching plan, because they'll see that the kids in the classroom maybe need instruction in a particular area that they didn't even realize they were struggling in, but they're all doing pretty well somewhere else. So it just enables the teacher to really tailor their instruction to the children in the classroom. And then every, couple of months, they're going to take another MAP test. And when they take it, the question bank will be different because they have a very large question bank, over 32,000 questions. So the test will be different. Of course, they'll probably be at a different level. So the questions won't be the same questions they got earlier, because they'll start where they are and then they'll go up and down from a new level. And so the questions will be different from the last time they took the test. But the most important thing for you to know is to really hone in on what is your child not doing as well on, that you can kind of support them on at home or through extra activities, through tutoring, just whatever, just where are they struggling that you can step in and help, because that would be your job as a parent, to make sure they catch up and get to where they need to be. Now, I want to show you resources we have at TestingMom that are really helpful for the MAP test, because I think you'll be excited to see what we have. What you do is you just log into our website. Our members can do that, and you just go right to the MAP test. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up. I'm going to show you this from the site itself. So this is actually what it looks like when you go to the MAP test area. You can do questions that are printable here on this, like right here. I can maybe pull up, let's say, my 4th grade questions. And all of these are printable, although you can also do questions that are interactive as well. But what we do is here's a basic quiz for algebraic concepts. And so we have basic. So those are the easy ones, and the middle, proficient, kind of in the middle, and then the advanced, the harder questions. For every area that your child is evaluated on the MAP tests, we have specific questions that go with the types of with the standard that your child is being tested on. And then at the end, we have full practice MAP tests. So your child can take an easier one, medium, intermediate level, and a more advanced level one here as well. But if they'd like to do interactive questions, which are closer to what's on the real test, because it is an interactive test, you can click here and do interactive questions. In fact, I'll just click right there. And I'll select for me practice for MAP, and I'll pick 3rd grade, and I'll do just a quick test, and it's gonna ask me questions. It's at what the house is at what point on the grid, and it mixes up, what words mean the uniform belongs to both girls. So it's going to be a mixture of both math and language. Which one is a hexagon? I'll do these. Oops, I'll do these really fast. I'm going to just guess which is a so read the poem and answer the question, and I'm doing these really fast. I just want to show you. I'm not even really reading them, but I want to show you that when it's over, you get your results. So, okay, because I was guessing, I got 3 out of 10, but I can actually look and I can see, well, what did I get right? Or when I missed it, you know, what are the questions I did not get right? And it shows the right answer. So you could do them online as well. So that's just something that we have right there. Okay, so let me just show you a couple other things. Okay, we've kind of gone over this. And the one thing about our MAP questions, though, that I want to point out is we do have over 10,000 questions. So you will never run out of questions. And the other tool from the website that I think is very helpful, that I think you'll enjoy, is you get what we call our Skill Building Academy. And you can use this in 2 ways. TestingMom is an accredited program. So we are able to get access to these wonderful learning programs from third-party providers, many of which you might be familiar with from your child's school. They may actually use some of these programs. And the ones that I've put in a red box are especially helpful. So for example, MobyMax is completely aligned with the MAP test. So you can use it both to prepare for the MAP test, and you can use it also to work on particular skills that are important for that test. You can use Dreambox Learning, another math program that's very helpful. Reading Kingdom, and just a number of different programs, Smart Math, Woot Math to work on decimals and fractions, and Typing Quest. I want to point that one out. I remember I said if your child is going to be writing, there is a typing program that we have as well. So they can do Typing Quest to work on their typing. But this is just something that comes with your membership, and it would cost you as much to buy a membership in just one of these programs as it does to join TestingMom. So it's a wonderful value, good value for the money to use this to help you both prepare for the MAP test, but also just to work on skills after your child is tested and you discover that, oh, they need to work on particular math skills. Well, you've got a tool for that right here. The other thing that we offer that I think is very helpful is we do one-to-one tutoring. So if your child needs work either before they're tested or afterwards, you want someone to work with them in areas where they really didn't score very well, we have amazing, just fabulous tutors. Many of them are former teachers with master's degrees, and they can work one-on-one with your child online. You don't have to go anywhere, and they can work with them on just improving the skills where they do need help. And you can call us at this number, or go to online.tutoring@testingmom.com, or just when you're on the site, you can click a button and schedule a session with a tutor, or you can schedule to talk to someone about tutoring and about what your child needs. We also do small group classes, so both in subjects that are covered by the MAP test, and then we'll also do MAP test prep classes. So you check our classes if you'd like, because that's another service that we offer that a lot of our families like to take advantage of. And finally, just to give you kind of an overview of all the resources we bring to the table, and why I think this is really a good program if you are going to get your child ready for the MAP test. We certainly have lots of questions, and as I said, you will never run out. We make test prep fun. You get one membership and that covers all your kids. And the other thing that's different that we do is we give you all the grade levels. So for example, we were looking at this a minute ago. Let's see. Let's say your child is in fourth grade and they're doing the algebraic concepts and they're struggling with it. What you might want to do is go back to third grade and do some easier questions. So we give you every grade. A lot of times what happens is kids have missed something along the way, and that is why they're struggling in a particular area. So you can go back and, if they're struggling in fourth grade, well, are they struggling in third grade? What is it that they missed? And that can kind of help you identify what you really need to work on. You can go back to the second grade if you need to, or if your child is doing especially well, you can do harder questions if your child can do them without frustration. But anyway, we just give you lots of things to work with. So you do get, one membership covers all the grade levels. We give you the online skill building. We give you printables. We give you the skill building academy where you can work on either prep or skills after your child is tested. If you are a member of TestingMom, you get discounts to our group classes and you get discounts for tutoring. We have lots of videos on demand about this particular test that go on for a lot longer than I am right now. And you can call us with your questions. We have people who are at the phones like 18 hours a day who can help you. And if you'd like to consult with me on anything, you get a half price on your consults if you're a member. So it's really worth it. And just, looking at us versus our competition, I think our reviews are more positive. They're in the excellent range. And we just give you so much more. So that's my quick overview on the MAP test. And when you join TestingMom, if you really want to go into greater depth, we have a lot of online content that you can just click on, videos on demand that will teach you even more about the MAP test. But I hope you'll join, and I look forward to helping you if you do. And our whole parent success team would love to help you as well. And thanks for sticking with me and learning about the MAP test today.